Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the press conference on the performance of the Philippine economy for the second quarter of 2019. I am Noreen Pagkatipunan of the Philippine Statistics Authority, and I will be your moderator for this conference. Let me now introduce to you the officials of the Philippine Statistics Authority and the National Economic and Development Authority. Please welcome the new National Statistician and Civil Registrar General of the PSA, Undersecretary Claire Denise S. Mapa. We also have Socioeconomic Planning Secretary Ernesto M. Pernia. Joining them are Undersecretary Rosemary G. Edelion of NEDA and Assistant Secretary Rosalinda P. Bautista of PSA. To start our press conference, let us have Yusek Claire Denise S. Mapa for the presentation of the performance of the Philippine economy for the second quarter of 2019.
Okay, good morning, everyone. The Philippine Statistics Authority is pleased to report the performance of the Philippine economy for the second quarter of 2019. The gross domestic product grew by 5.5% in the second quarter of 2019 from the previous 6.2% in the same period last year. Net primary income, or NPI, from the rest of the world grew by 3.1%, and the gross national income grew by 5.1%. Among the major economic industries, services sector recorded the fastest growth of 7.1%, while industry expanded by 3.7% and agriculture grew by 0.6%. With the country's projected population reaching 107.9 million in the second quarter of 2019, per capita GDP posted a growth of 3.8%. This was 4.5% in the same quarter of the previous year. Meanwhile, per capita GNI and per capita household final consumption expenditure grew by 3.5% and 3.9% respectively. Among the three major economic industries, services had the highest contribution to the GDP growth in the second quarter of 2019 with 4.2 percentage points. This was followed by industry with 1.3 percentage points and agriculture with 0.04 percentage point. On the demand side, intellectual property product posted the highest growth of 28.7%, followed by the three components: government final consumption expenditure 6.9%, household final consumption expenditure 5.6%, and exports of goods 4.6%. Major contributors to the GDP growth from the expenditure side were household final consumption expenditure at 3.7 percentage points, net exports at 2.7 percentage points, and government final consumption expenditure at 0.9 percentage point. On the other hand, gross capital formation pulled down the GDP growth by 2.4 percentage points. The Philippine Statistics Authority appreciates your presence in this second quarter 2019 National Accounts Press Conference, and we look forward to meeting you again on November 7, 2019, when we report the performance of the Philippine economy for the third quarter of 2019. Thank you very much and good morning.
Thank you very much, Yusek Mapa. Now let us hear the statement of NEDA Secretary Ernesto M. Pernia.
Our partners from the National Statistics Philippine Statistics Authority, colleagues in government, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As reported by the Philippine Statistics Authority, the Philippine economy grew 5.5% in the second quarter of 2019, the country's lowest growth outturn in 17 quarters. This means that we will have to grow by an average of at least 6.4% in the second half of the year to reach the low end of the full year growth target of 6 to 7% in 2019. As we have anticipated, these have been challenging times. The past year, we had enumerated the major ones that we thought would impact our economic growth performance, namely the El Nino phenomenon, the rising protectionism in advanced economies, and the election ban on construction activities. First, the El Nino phenomenon is seen to be responsible for the contraction in the output of water-sensitive crops, palay, which contracted by 5.5%, and corn declining by 8.4%. This is why we must equip the agriculture sector with an effective climate change and disaster risk reduction program that will reduce production losses owing to weather disturbances. In addition to insurance programs, we must introduce technological solutions in order to build resiliency. Importantly, we should ensure the proper implementation of the rice tariffication law, and then the thrusts of the Department of Agriculture under the new leader, Secretary William Dar, are worth supporting. This will help us achieve food security, protect our farmers from risks, and make the agriculture sector more profitable. Also on the El Nino phenomenon, we note that though we only experience a mild El Nino, the impact on water supply, particularly in Metro Manila, was severe. And this adversely affected consumer confidence, resulting in a slowdown in household consumption by 5.6% in the second quarter compared with 6.2% in the first quarter. The water crisis appears to have resulted from poor coordination between the government, with more than 30 agencies in charge, and the private distributors. Once again, we call for the creation of an apex body, water body, to handle management and generation of water resources, and another one to regulate water use. We envision a setup similar to the energy sector, where there is a Department of Energy and an Energy Regulatory Commission. Second, the growing protectionist stance in the advanced economies is having a moderating impact on the IT BPM sector, so that exports of miscellaneous services only grew by 1.3%. It used to grow by double digits up until 3 years ago. Note that the sector is also being adversely affected by the rise of artificial intelligence. We need to encourage the sector to retool and reform in order to service the higher value-added business processes. Third, we have also anticipated a ban on public works and other spending leading up to the May 2019 elections. For this reason, government agencies had undertaken pre-procurement processes short of award during the latter part of 2018. What we did not foresee, though, back then was the delay in the passage of the 2019 national budget. The weak economic performance during the second quarter of 2019 is the continuing effect of that delay in the passage of the 2019 budget. coupled with the election ban. Government consumption spending has slowed down. Capital formation has declined rather sharply, particularly on the government side. Public construction dropped by 27.2% for the second consecutive quarter, which offset the growth both brought in by private construction. For this reason, we are calling for the timely passage of the national budget for fiscal year 2020 so as not to derail next year's economic growth. This is crucial to the delivery of the government's promises, such as the completion of the Build program and the full implementation of the country's social development programs, such as the free tertiary education, the universal health care, and the expanded conditional cash transfer, among others. For the remainder of the year, government must continue to push forward and fast-track the implementation of infrastructure projects under the program. As only 11 of 38 NEDA board-approved project proposals out of the 75 infrastructure flagship projects are in the construction phase. To ensure sustained construction activity, expediting the approval of permits and requirements for construction-related projects is important for agencies to attain target disbursements. This early, we need to consider extending the validity of the 2019 budget. We're also seeing the impact of policy uncertainty on investments. Hence, we call on the new Congress to prioritize the passage of the Trabajo Bill as well as the amendments to the Foreign Investment Act, the Public Service Act, and the Retail Trade Liberalization Act. In addition, a revised security of tenure bill should be passed that addresses specifically the loopholes in the country's labor law, while making sure that the labor market becomes more, not less, flexible, that attract investments, creating more job opportunities. On the external front, it is essential for the country to diversify its products and markets through the establishment or improvement of new and existing trade relations with strategic partners. This would help the country withstand external shocks and promote growth over the medium term. We should also think beyond traditional export products and markets. Tourism holds a huge potential for the country, especially since travel has been largely insulated from the trade wars and other tensions that we have been witnessing. Strategic and sustained efforts to ramp up the tourist sector will greatly help compensate for the moderation of the goods exports. Friends, this growth slowdown serves as a challenge to all of us, all branches of government and the private sector. We are now in the process of updating the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022, taking account of progress we have made, the lessons we have learned, as well as new challenges and prospects ahead. As we move forward, we remain optimistic and determined to pursue our goals for the economy and especially for the people. We hope that everyone remains supportive, including the media, and committed to help each and every Filipino realize their long-term vision of a matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay para sa lahat. Thank you and good morning once again.
Thank you very much, Secretary Pernia. Before we proceed to the open forum, please remain seated as we distribute the press kits for your reference. Thank you.
weak figure for the second quarter. How is government's catch-up plan doing so far? Now that we're seeing really the rains really coming in, are we still confident that we can still really pull off this one? And aside from maybe boosting government spending, what else should government and the private sector focus on among all those sectors that could really boost growth moving forward? Thank you.
Well, we mentioned a number of measures like ramping up spending on the infrastructure projects under the build program, and then government, especially the legislative branch of government, should immediately or expeditiously pass the reforms that are needed to make the economy more attractive and more competitive internationally. Public Service Act, the Foreign Investment Act, and the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, of course, as well as the Trabajo Bill, as well as many other things that are already in the back burner of Congress. So, I guess the private sector has also to cooperate. The private sector has to respond in terms of participating in projects and never be discouraged in terms of the long process that usually it takes for government on our part to process especially complicated PPP projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I should really ask my colleagues here to supplement because they have even brighter ideas.
No, actually the Secretary has already mentioned it. For the private sector, because as you know, the majority of output is generated by the private sector. And we're seeing that I think the key is really to address the policy uncertainty. And for this, what we really need is to push for those bills, those measures that will address these policy uncertainties. On the positive side, we're seeing some progress with respect to the ARTA because, as you know, the Secretary of the ARTA has already been appointed, and in fact, we're supposed to already report on all those streamlining programs that we have. So each agency of government will have to come up with that. So that is actually a positive note also for the investors. And then, of course, we're pushing for several legislative reforms.
Well, again, we hope that with the new Secretary of Agriculture, things in agriculture will make a turnaround. I think he is quite qualified for the job, and he has had good experience in the agricultural sector.
Thank you, Sec Pernia and Yusek Edelion. Yes, Sir Ben, and then we'll have Our Lady and front.
Hello, good morning. I'm Ben, the Bureau of Inquiry. Sorry. Given the below 6% growth in the first 2 quarters, will there be any review in the growth assumptions or growth targets of 6 to 7%? And also, did you compute how much was the impact had we spent the budget on time? How much should we have had grown in the second quarter or in the first half had we implemented the 2019 budget as scheduled? Thank you, sir.
Well, we may have to tweak or to modify some of the assumptions in the that we agreed on the DPCC, and just to be realistic about what we expect this year. And yes, I think there's room for really doubling down or redoubling efforts to spend on public infrastructure. As you know, the multiplier effect of government spending, especially in infrastructure, is pretty high. So that could spell the difference among other things that the Congress and other sectors like tourism and agriculture would be contributing to better growth performance. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Sec Pernia. For the next question, yes, please.
Good morning, Severina Monte from Manila Shibun. Sir, you have mentioned that one of the factors which could contribute our growth is tourism. But recently, National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon raised concern regarding the influx of Chinese tourists here. And we all know that one of the major sources of our tourists are China. So how are you going to reconcile this?
We need tourists from other countries as well, especially the tourists that spend big when they're here, not those who are minuscule spenders. But that is the nature of the Chinese tourists are of a different kind, so we need other tourists, I guess.
So, sir, sorry, are you saying that the Chinese tourists are not big spenders?
Factually, if you look at the data on tourist receipts from various types of tourists, they seem to be rather on the low side compared to others. They stay longer, but they tend to spend less.
Thank you. For our
Yes,
next
if I may add as well, we actually also want to the security agencies. We understand the problem of the security agencies, but we think there are other instruments in order to achieve the security objective and also the tourism objective. So